All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into something, well, pretty strange. We're looking at this wild connection between a thriller novel and a real scientific paper. And the core idea is that architecture, buildings, might be more than just stone and glass. It might actually be a tool for control.
So let's kick things off with this quote. Stone is never silent. This comes from the novel's main character, a controversial professor named Gabriel Madrigal. And his whole argument is that the great buildings of history, they aren't just shelters. No, he says they're active players in our lives, constantly broadcasting these signals that, somewhere along the way, we've just forgotten how to listen to.
And that really gets to the heart of the story. It poses this huge question. What if our most sacred buildings, think cathedrals, temples, pyramids, what if they aren't just structures, but massive, finely tuned instruments? It's asking us to completely rethink architecture, to wonder if these incredible places we revere were actually built for a secret purpose.
This all starts with a theory so radical, so explosive, that it gets our hero chased all over the world. It's called the frequency of control, and it's the central idea in the thriller, The Temple Architect.
So what is this frequency of control? Well, according to Professor Madrigal, it's the idea that architecture, everything from ancient pyramids to Gothic cathedrals, was deliberately designed to influence us, to affect our minds, our behavior. He's saying these buildings aren't just passive objects, they're active senders and receivers, built to persuade, to guide, and, ultimately to control us. He puts it like this. The room is the instrument. Think about it. A huge cathedral, right? He says it's tuned by everything, the stone, the vaulted ceilings, the stained glass, the bells. All of it works together to slide you into a certain state of mind, a posture of awe. And he argues that throughout history, that posture was used. It wasn't just about atmosphere, it was about using sound and space to tune a population's beliefs, turning that feeling of awe into agreement, making them open to whatever message was being delivered.
Okay, so this incredibly dangerous idea kicks off a massive quest for Gabriel. He finds himself chasing after this secret manuscript, this lost system of knowledge about architecture that's been buried for centuries.
And this hunt takes him everywhere. It starts with a childhood memory in Mexico, his grandfather telling him to listen and feel the earth. Then it jumps to Austin, where he gives the very lecture that gets him into all this trouble. From there, a mysterious note sends him all the way to France, to the famous Reims Cathedral, where kings were crowned. And it all leads back to Mexico, to the massive Pyramid of the Sun at Teotihuacan, where he thinks he'll find the source of it all.
The real breakthrough, the moment everything changes, happens in France. Gabriel gets his hands on this mysterious old parchment. It's the key, a key to a lost manuscript that's been passed down through a secret line of builders for generations.
And this is where it gets absolutely wild. That document reveals an impossible connection. On the left, you've got the floor plan for Reims Cathedral in France, a 13th century Gothic masterpiece. On the right, the layout of the Pyramid of the Sun in Mexico, built over 1,000 years earlier. And when you overlay them, they match. They're built on the same geometric blueprint. How is that even possible? Two cultures separated by an ocean and a millennium using the same design. This discovery throws him right into the middle of a secret war. On one side, you have the Zandaria, a secret society trying to protect this ancient knowledge. And on the other, the Ordena, a rival group that wants to weaponize it, to control it. And caught in the middle is the legacy of the architect, this whole lineage of builders who encoded the secrets right into the stone.
Okay, so that's the story. A thrilling adventure, right? But hold on, because this is where our explainer takes a really sharp turn. We're about to jump from the pages of a novel to a real-world scientific study. This is where it gets weird.
So just to recap the novel's big idea, resonance persuades obedience. The belief that you can tune a building to make people compliant. It's a great concept for a thriller, for sure.
But then, get this. Decades after the events in the novel are set, a real academic paper pops up, and it proposes an eerily similar idea, a testable science of what it calls resonant cities. The paper literally suggests that entire cities can act like huge resonant instruments.
So you have to ask, right? Is it possible that the thriller's frequency of control has a real-world counterpart? Could this dense scientific paper be the real-world echo of that fictional theory? Is this where the story bleeds into reality? To dig into that, we've got to look at the one city that shows up in both the thriller and the scientific paper, Austin, Texas. This is our ground zero.
And check this out. This table just lays the parallels out so clearly. In the fictional tale, the mechanism for control is bells, chants, and sacred geometry. In the real scientific theory, it's the Schumann resonance, the Earth's natural frequency, and something called crowd-loading. The amplifier in the story is a cathedral vault. In the science, it's karst aquifers and geologic faults under a city. And the goal? The novel calls it persuasion and control. The science calls it entrainment and synchronization. I mean, come on. The terminology is different, but the core concept is almost identical. It's uncanny.
So the paper, this theory of urban resonance ecology, basically argues that a city's geology, in Austin's case, all these limestone caves and underground rivers, can combine with human activity to turn the whole city into a gigantic resonant instrument. They call it a karst instrument.
And how do you play a city-sized instrument? Well, according to this chart, you do it with big cultural events, things like the South by Southwest Festival or Austin City Limits. The paper calls these cultural excitation events. They're not just concerts. The combined energy and sound from all those thousands of people is literally playing the geology of Austin.
And here's where it goes even deeper. The theory connects this city-scale resonance to the primary Schumann resonance. That's basically the Earth's natural electromagnetic frequency, kind of like the planet's background hum. It clocks in at around 7.83 hertz, and the paper suggests that this frequency could act as a carrier wave, helping to synchronize the brain waves of everyone in the crowd on a massive scale. Wild, right? Creating a kind of unified state of mind.
And then there's this, the final absolutely stunning coincidence. The author of this very real scientific study, a Dr. G. Antonio Arrieta. Does that name ring a bell? The protagonist of the thriller is Gabriel. His key ally is named Laia Arrieta. G. Arrieta. It's just too perfect to be a coincidence, isn't it?
So, where does this leave us? What are we supposed to take away from all this? Well, it's a huge kind of unsettling question about where fiction ends and reality begins.
So we have to ask, was the thriller a kind of fictional trial balloon? A warning shot about a real, hidden science? And is this academic paper the first glimpse of that science finally coming out into the open? You have to wonder, was the story a way to introduce an idea that was just too strange to reveal as a fact?
And that leaves us with one last big question. Are our cities singing to us, and have we just forgotten how to listen? Maybe the next time you're in a big crowd, feeling that bass drum in your chest, or just walking down a busy street feeling the hum of the city, maybe you're part of something much bigger. An instrument being played, a song that we're all just starting to hear.